Hello my lovelies, and welcome back to Allotment of the Dead. So was planning on doing some onions around Boxing Day, but the weather was absolutely awful, and went down the plot, decided not to do much in the way of anything down there, other than plant a few more sweet peas. So today I'm going to move everything indoors. As you can see from that first little bit of video at the start here, the chimes and the wind sculptures have been getting absolutely mad with this wind that's been hitting the UK again. Another named storm up north, which has caused kind of snowstorms and havoc up there. Luckily, we've been a bit better down here in the Midlands, but still really a bit too wet to get down the plot. I did venture down there earlier. I'll post some video later on to see what the kind of state that the paths and things are down there. But yeah, they're absolutely waterlogged down there at the moment. So decided to come in and do some onions in the comfort of my kitchen with a nice cup of tea. Can't beat it really. You don't need to get cold and frozen and having to deal with the wind and rain all the time as an allotment holder. You can kind of take it indoors, and it's that kind of time of year as well where I'll be growing some chilies and putting the chilies in, especially the super hots. So we'll get those going as well. So we'll venture back inside. Okay, so here's my current setup. So nice tray. Get these from your local garden centre. They do really well for potting things up and things. These nice container wise, almost like root trainer kind of size, nice solid thick plastic trays, and my spring onions. So I'm not going to plant any of the larger onions. I think they're relatively cheap in the shops, and I don't really have much luck with them. So I'll be growing some spring onions though still. We do eat a lot of spring onions. So we've got 4 varieties. White Lisbon. We've got the red variety here, North Holland Blood Red. And we've got the Ishikura, which again is quite a common one for most people. And we've got the Welsh onion, which is the wandering onion, I think it's also called, because they tend to spread. So a few varieties, we'll get those going. In terms of compost, I don't sieve compost. I haven't done that for probably around 4 or 5 years now. So on the basis of a good friend of mine from the plot, I've been using this Levington Advanced F1 for all of my seed needs. So it's a low nutrient mix. You don't really have to add anything to it really either. It's really good, nice and fine. And this is a bit wet actually because it's come down from the plot. It's just warmed up a bit now, but yeah, really good compost. It's not even pre-sieved, it's just that's how it comes. So yeah, nice Italian friend that has been growing probably a long time down our plot. Something he lives by, and now it's something I live by as well. So okay, so we filled our trays with the lovely F1 compost that we've got. Again, didn't need to do any sieving at all. It's all really nice, really quite loose. And this has been outside for probably 3 or 4 months. Gained a little bit of moisture in that time, but absolutely gorgeous consistency of this. Again, really low nutrient. Anything that you plant seed-wise doesn't need any other nutrients, so normal compost isn't really needed. Just a low nutrient seed compost is ideal for those seeds. If you add too much nutrients early on in the life of the seed, that can be detrimental to its growth rather than actually helping it. So what we've done, so we've filled these nice container-wise trays, nice deep trays, these ones, and I've used the tested method of sticking a finger in and making a nice little indent into each one. So what we'll do is we'll start off with some white Lisbon spring onions. So I'm only going to grow spring onions at the moment. I know it's quite common in the UK especially to start all of your onions off on Boxing Day. Reason being is because by the time the summer comes and you start getting all the competitions, your onions should be nice and ready for actually taking to the competitions and things like that. So I've never really bothered with onions, at least not the larger onions. Spring onions I grow every year. I've never really bothered at all with the larger onions. They take up quite a bit of space. And for me, there's a lot more interesting things out there to grow. And as I say, even these spring onions, there's some kind of weird and wonderful different colours and things like that of those. So I'll grow these. Right, so a nice handful of these spring onions. So these are last year's seeds still. But again, they should grow fine. 2 or 3 to each well. Or maybe more, because being spring onions, these will make a nice little clump. So I'm going to do a full tray of these white Lisbon. They always do really well. And again, starting them this early can give you quite an early crop of these nice spring onions. Okay. Okay, see if I've missed any. I don't think I have. Right. Let's put the leftovers in there. Right. Now just a little bit of, again, more F1 over the top. And then we'll give these a nice water in. And then I will be taking these back down to the plot. I'm not going to keep these at home. These, although they would like a little bit of heat, they don't necessarily need quite as much as the other things I'll be growing, like the chilies and the things like aubergines and things like that. So these will go down to the new build. The new build kept quite a bit of heat this year, so I've been quite pleased with that. And what I'll do is I'll take these down and I'll set up a couple of oil lanterns, and then hopefully should be able to retain a bit of heat. So there we go. So that's your first one. Got a nice label in the top so we know what it is. Okay, we'll put that over there for now. Right, we'll go on to the next one. So what I'm going to do in this one is put in the red ones and the Welsh onions. So the red ones, 250 seeds. So I got these off the front of Kitchen Garden. Been subscribing to that for quite a few years now, and always get plenty of seeds sent to us on the front of that magazine. So we're going to do about half and half on these. There's about 250 seeds in this, so we're probably not going to use them all, but I'll go half in this one, and then the other half will be the Welsh onions. Okay, a few more in that one and that one. Right. And again, top it up with a bit of the F1 compost. Again, you don't want to pack it too tight. Your seeds will grow through it quite well then. Okay. Right. So that's the blood red spring onions. So when these come through and they're ready for planting on, I'm just going to plant the entire cell in the ground and keep them together as a clump. And they should grow quite well. Right, Welsh onions. So Welsh onions, also called wandering onions or clumping onions or Chinese onions, variety of different names. The term Welsh onion isn't because they're native to Wales. So the term Welsh in this particular use of it is because Welsh is an old Germanic word for Wella, meaning foreigner. So these are onions that are foreign to this country. They're not a native variety in this country. They are from China. So hence the term Chinese onions as being another term for this particular onion. When I first heard about these, I thought it's because they were probably native to Wales. So again, amazing kind of the different things that you learn from kind of just everyday gardening. It's like I say, you always every day is a day to learn. Every day is a school day, as they say. Right, so that's the Welsh onions. So again, these are from Plant World Seeds. I do use Plant World Seeds quite a bit. They do sell some unusual stuff. These are more your unusual onions because they do clump a little bit like your shallots. So they'll, if you leave them in the ground, chances are you'll have probably double or treble what you've kind of put in the first place. So in that respect, one of the other terms for this onion is the perennial onion. So it will keep growing as long as you keep it in the ground. I know down our plot, one of our plot holders has given away clumps of his Welsh onions to different people. And he had his original clump given to him by one of the other plot holders that were on the plot. So again, one of the things about these wandering onions, these Welsh onions, is that they can become an allotment heirloom. Right, just the last one now. Okay, final onion we're sowing today is the Ishikura Japanese spring onion. So it's again another what they call a bunching onion. and makes nice bunches of spring onions. And what we'll do is, I don't think there's many seeds in this one, about 300 or so. So again, we'll put a few in each of these wells. There you go, there's just a handful. Right. Ooh, seem to have run out. Right, let's see if there's any more in there. No, not many. Okay. So, I'll have a look, see if there's any more Ishikura. No. So what we'll do is we'll finish off these final 3 rows with more white Lisbon. Let's put the Ishikura in there, so we know how far they've got. So this is mould seeds. You get a lot, hell of a lot for I think £3.40. Got those from a store in Evesham called BHGS, I think. This was also where I get the F1 compost from. Variety of different seeds they do there as well. So yeah, definitely worth a look if you get a chance, if you're in that kind of neck of the woods. It's probably about 30-minute drive for me, maybe slightly more, 40 minutes or so. But it's worth a trip out. Where I also picked up the Schlanger cucumbers last year. So again, it was definitely worth that trip. Right, so that's the last few spring onions. And like I said, I'm not going to grow any of the larger round onions this year. Maybe the wife will do some, but we'll say over the years we've always done them with sets rather than seed. So we'll probably carry on doing that. I think Kim might put some in. I definitely won't be. Right. Again, just top them up with some more of this nice F1 compost. Again, absolutely great that there's no sieving involved. Okay, so we'll give these a nice water, and then these will be taken down to the plot. I'm not keeping these at home. Space is pretty limited. I'm probably going to upset the wife the amount of chilies I'm growing this year. So probably best if I try and take as much as down the plot as I can. And I know these can withstand at least a little bit of cold. I'll put them in the new build. Should be quite warm in there, hopefully. So we'll put those out of the way and give them a water. Right, so that's my onions planted at least this side of New Year. I'll probably will plant some more. It's always nice to have a succession of spring onions. So we'll definitely be planting a few more of those. Anyway, that's my onion plants, well, plants planted for today. So all the best, you guys. Happy New Year. Take care. Bye-bye.